Okay, guys, let's start today's session. Yes, I welcome you all to this Python course. Yeah, let me show today's agenda. In today's session, we are going to discuss some of the basic concepts regarding programming. Okay, first let's start with what is meant by a program, and then let's try to understand how computers work. After that, let's discuss about programming languages, and then let's discuss about high-level language and low-level language. And after that, I want you to introduce some new words like compiler, interpreter, and then let's discuss about introduction to Python. And finally, let's see the installation of Python in our Windows. Okay, this is our today's agenda. Still, a lot of people are joining in the class. Okay, I'll begin today's class. So let us start. What is meant by a program? The class is being recorded, so you don't have to send any messages. If you have any doubts, you can just wait for 5 minutes. I'll give a chance to unmute yourself. Also, I will share this PPT in the WhatsApp group, so you don't have to worry about that. Today, we are going to discuss just basics regarding programming. Now, let's try to answer the simple question: what is meant by a program? Okay, in simple terms, we can say that a program is nothing but set of instructions. So, here, program is nothing but a set of instructions we give a computer. So, this is the basic definition which you should remember. Let us try to understand this with a real world scenario. So there is a person who don't know how to use Android phone. Just consider this scenario. There is a person who don't know how to use Android phone. Now you want that person to send a WhatsApp message. Okay, this is our scenario. Now what will you do? You will give some instructions to that person, right? So you will give instructions like first take your mobile, turn on your mobile, and then unlock your phone. And the next instruction is open WhatsApp, and then open the specific contact. And next instruction is type your message, and then finally hit the send button. So these are some of the instructions which you give to a person in order to send a message in WhatsApp. In the similar way, if we want to give instructions to our computer, then we need program. So for giving instructions to a computer, we use programming. Once again, so today's agenda, sir. Okay, this is agenda. We are going to discuss only basics today. Okay, now we have seen what is meant by a program. So I want all of you to remember this basic definition, which is a programming. A program is nothing but set of instructions. Now after that, let us try to understand how a computer works. We all know this basic concept, right? Computers will understand only binary language, that is zeros and ones. As humans, we speak a lot of languages like English, Telugu, Tamil, etc. But for computers, they can only understand binary language. They process all the data by zeros and ones only. So, this is the main point which you have to remember over here. But another thing is, as humans, we cannot interact with computers in binary language. No, we speak English, Telugu, and a lot of other languages, but we can't speak binary language. So, if we want to give instructions to a computer, then we need to give them in binary language, which we can't. So, here the programming languages comes in picture. Okay, so here programming language means it, in the simplest definition over here is a programming language is a way for humans to communicate with computers. So this is the thing which you should remember. We have seen that a program is nothing but set of instructions. But if we want to give instructions to a computer, then we need to give them in binary language because computers can understand only binary language. But as humans, we can't give instructions in binary language. So here we use programming language. So have a look at this definition. A programming language is way for humans to communicate with computers. It is a special type of language that allows us to give instructions to the computer in the way that it can understand. Okay, so it is a special type of language similar to English, Telugu. Programming language is also a special type of language which allows us to give instructions to a computer because computers can understand only binary language, which is zeros and ones. Okay, now you might be having one question. So I just told that computers can understand only zeros and ones. So if programming language is made up of zeros and ones means the answer is no. These programming languages also look similar to English only. We don't type zeros and ones in programming language. Okay, so here I want you to understand this simple terminology: high level language versus low level language. You need to understand these two terms. These are very basic terms in programming. First, let us see what is high level language means. High level languages are programming languages that are designed to be easier for humans to understand and write. Okay, these high level languages are also, they look similar to English language only. We use terms like if, else, for, while. These are all English words, right? We use similar words in this high level language. Okay, these languages are more like our languages which we use in everyday life. We generally write programs in these high level languages. Okay, so Uh, the base examples of high-level languages are Python, C, Java. If you have already learned Java, then you might be aware of this high-level language versus low-level language. But for beginners, I am explaining this. These Python, C language, Java, all these languages are high-level languages. These languages are simple and easy for humans to understand. So the next thing is low-level language. Low-level languages are nothing but machine languages, which are zeros and ones. You can simply remember like this. High-level languages are programming languages like Python, Java, C. Low-level languages are binary languages, which are nothing but zeros and ones. These low-level languages are understood only by machines. As humans, we can't understand these low-level languages. Okay, now we have seen what are high-level languages and low-level languages. Now again, you might be having this simple doubt. So yes, the doubt is mm, we know that computers can understand only binary language, but we are writing programs in high level language. Okay, listen to my words carefully. We all know that computers understand only binary language. We are writing programs in high level language. Okay. Then how computers will process this high level language? Because these high level languages are made up of English words, right? So how can computer understand this high level language? This is the important question. So in order to understand this, we need to learn about compiler. So if you have already learned Java, then there you might have seen about compiler. As a lot of students are beginners, so I want to explain about compiler also. So have a look at this basic definition. This is the simplest definition. Okay, a compiler is a special type of program that helps us to turn human readable code written in high level language into instructions that a computer can understand. Okay, a compiler plays major role here. We are writing our programs in high level language like Python, Java, C. These high level language code is converted into machine language, which is nothing but zeros and ones with the help of a compiler. So compiler is a special program, or else we can consider it as a software. So a compiler is a special program or a software that helps us to convert our high level language into machine level language. Okay. So okay, a compiler is a okay. We have seen about compiler. So our programs, which we write in Python, C, and Java, these programs will be compiled into zeros and ones using a compiler. So if we want to execute any programs in our computer, then we need to install a special software. So there are specific softwares for Java, C, and Python. So depending upon the language which we want to use, we will install our specific software. So we will install a specific compiler. This compiler plays major role in conversion of high-level language into low-level language. Okay, let me revise all these things. We have seen what is a program. A program is nothing but set of instructions which we give to a computer. So as a humans, we speak lot of languages, but not binary language. But computers understand only binary language. So instead of using our languages like English and Telugu, we use programming languages to give instructions to a computer. Okay, I hope you all are getting my point. So these programming languages are two types: high-level language and low-level language. High-level languages which we use are easy for us to understand, like Python, C, and Java. These these high-level languages are converted into low-level language by a compiler because machine will understand only binary language. Okay, so if you have any doubts, now you can ask me regarding this. Please teach parallelly both in Telugu and English. It is okay, but if maybe some students don't understand Telugu, what can I do? Can you share the PPT? Yes, I will share the PPT. Apart from certification, timings, I have told already all of those things. We will give a certification, and also I will share the PPT. Apart from this, you can ask any other questions related to Python, related to programming, which we have discussed right now. I will also share the course content in WhatsApp. You don't have to worry about that. Timings are same, Praveen, from 7 to 8. No doubts, good clarification. Okay, Noor. Someone is saying I am teaching fast. Let me know about functions of Python. Yes, yes, Vishnu, I will explain about all those things. Just we are getting started now, right? We are just getting started. Okay. I hope you all understood about Yashwant is asking if Python is better than Java. That totally depends on you. That is the answer I can give. If you are interested in Python, then you can continue learning Python. Otherwise, you can choose Java. Both are best programming languages in their field. Python is used in data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. And also nowadays we use Python in web development also. The course duration is 1 month. What is the difference between compiler and interpreter? Yes, Srinivasulu, I am going to tell about that. Okay. Who write the code of compiler? Sai Pooja is asking who write the code of compiler. That's a good question. The people who developed programming language, like Python developers, they wrote the code for compiler. Yashwant is asking which language will be the that will be get a better opportunity. Both languages, Python and Java, both have better opportunities. Yes, Sadiq, we get hands-on experience in this training. Yes. Which one is Ramakrishna is asking? Which one is simple and easy, compiler or interpreter? Okay. First, let me explain about the difference between compiler and interpreter. The next slide is about interpreter only. Okay. Now we have discussed about compiler, right? We all know that compiler is used to convert high language into low level language. Now, if you search about Python in Google, then the first definition that Google will give is Python is an interpreted high level language. So now it's time to understand about interpreter. Okay, Java is not an interpreted language. C is not an interpreted language. Python is the only interpreted language. Okay, so interpreter is it is also a program like compiler. Interpreter also helps in the execution of code, but the only difference here is interpreter executes code line by line. So this is the main point which you should remember. Interpreter executes code line by line. So our Python code will be executed line by line. So let me explain you with this. If you have already learned Java, then okay, if you have already learned Java, then Java is a compiled language. So first you will compile your Java program and after that you will run. But in case of Python, we directly run our Python code. Here compilation takes place in the background. Okay, we don't compile our Python code manually. This compilation will take place in the background. So Python is a interpreted language, which means um, the Python code will get executed line by line. So you can read this basic definition also. So let me tell you one more thing. In a Java program, if you are making any mistake, then your code won't execute at all. Okay. So there is a program which is of 100 lines. So there is a 100 lines program. Uh, Suppose if there is a mistake in line number 75 in Java, then your entire code will return an error. It won't compile. Okay, hope you understood this point. If there is a program which is made up of 100 lines, if there is an error in line number 75, then entire Java code will return an error saying that there is so and so error in line number 75. Whereas in case of Python, our if there is an error in line number 75, then our code will get executed until line number 74. Okay, until line number 74, we will get output. In the place of line number 75 only, we get an error. Okay, this is how Python works. So it executes code line by line. What is interpreter? Interpreter executes code line by line. Python is a interpreted high level language. Okay, so here we don't manually compile our Python code. Compilation takes place in the background. The main role played is by interpreter. Here the interpreter plays the main role of execution of program. So this interpreter will execute our code line by line. I am repeating the same thing again and again because I want you to remember all these concepts forever. These are very important concepts for beginners. Okay, we have seen a lot of concepts now like what is a high level language, what is compiler, what is interpreter, what is program. All these things we have discussed now. I hope you understood about the difference between compiler and interpreter now. Okay, so Python is an interpreter language. Remember this concept. Interpreter execute code line by line, whereas compiler will convert the entire code into machine language. Interpreter will convert line by line. So the as a first step, the first line will get converted into machine level language. Next, the second line of code will be converted into machine level language. Similarly, until the last line. Here the code will be executed line by line. So have a look at this definition. It works by reading and executing the code line by line without translating the entire program in advance like compiler does. So compiler translates the entire program into low-level language, whereas interpreted um, executes our code line by line. Okay, the next thing is introduction to Python. So here I have this link. Okay, there are a lot of people are saying that there are so many people are in the waiting room. There's no one here in the waiting room. Okay, now we have seen some of the basic concepts like compiler, interpreter, programming language. and high level language, low level language. As we are going to discuss about Python in this course, now it's time to begin introduction to Python. So first of all, let us understand what is Python. So Python is a high level programming language. We know what is meant by high level programming language. So for time being, just ignore this first point, because for beginners it is difficult to understand this first point. If you are already good at Java or C, then you may understand this, but for beginners it is difficult to understand this first point. So I will explain this first point after discussing about some of the concepts in programming. So let us start with the second point. Okay. Now look at this. Python is interpreted and high level programming language. We know what is meant by interpreter and what is high level language. The next thing is it was created by Guido van Rossum in 1989. So this man, Guido van Rossum, he is also called as father of Python programming language, and he introduced this language in 1989. Okay, this is not a new programming language. It became famous in recent days, but this is not a new programming language. So it was introduced in 1989 by Guido van Rossum. You can remember this name if you want, or else you can just Google this name. Who is father of Python programming language? You will get answer as Guido van Rossum. Okay. Now it's time to discuss about what are the features of Python. So this is important, right? So if we are learning a programming language, then we need to know what are its features, what are advantages of that programming language. We need to know what that programming language can do. Okay, so just wait a minute. Okay, now let's have a look at features of Python. So the first thing is Python is simple and easy to understand. Yes, comparing to Java and C, Python is the easiest programming language. Okay, and Python is very simple and it is easy to understand. It feels like we are writing some of the instructions in English. So it is easy. Python is simple and easy to understand. And also the second point is it is interpreted. We know what is meant by interpreted. And also it is platform independent language. So now have a look at this platform independent. Um, right now I am using Windows operating system, right? Some people may use Mac OS and some may use Linux. We can run Python programs in any operating system. Oh, it is not dependent on a particular platform. Okay, we can execute Python programs in Windows, Mac OS, Linux operating systems like Ubuntu, etc. So it is not a platform independent. It is a platform independent. It is not specific to a particular platform. Okay, we can execute our Python programs in any platform we want. And the next point is Python is an open source programming language. Now, what is meant by this open source? It is simple. So anyone in this world can download Python software and they can start using Python. Okay, it is not related or it is not made for a specific organization. It is open source. Anyone in this world can download this. Okay, so it is an open source programming language. Now the next point is Python supports. Python provides very big library support. Yes, this is the best thing about Python programming language. Here we have lot of libraries in Python. Also, what is meant by library, we will discuss in upcoming videos. It takes around 2 to 3 days to complete this concept of libraries. But just remember this point. So, some of the libraries in Python are NumPy, TensorFlow, Selenium, OpenCV. Now, what is this NumPy? NumPy means numerical Python. For complex mathematical calculations, we use this NumPy library in Python. Okay, libraries are also, in simple terms, I can say, libraries are also pre-written Python code. Now here we will, in upcoming days, we are going to write our own Python programs. In the similar way, these libraries, they are also some pre-written Python programs. They are written by somebody else, some Python developers. So we will make use of that code. So this is the concept of libraries. In libraries, we are using someone else's program. Okay. So NumPy, I have already told that NumPy is used for mathematical calculations. The next module is TensorFlow. These are four modules. Actually, there are lakhs of modules in Python. So this TensorFlow module is used in machine learning. For training data in machine learning, we use TensorFlow module. The next one is Selenium. To deal with web browsers and to deal with URLs, we use this Selenium modules. The next one is OpenCV. CV means computer vision. So for this image recognition and pattern recognition, for all these things, we use OpenCV module. CV stands for computer vision. So these are some of the. Hello, I am audible, right? Okay, okay. I lost my Wi-Fi connection. Sorry for the inconvenience. Let us continue our session. So yes, we have discussed about some of the popular libraries in Python. Okay. Now I hope you all are aware of these basic terms like platform independent. So what is meant by platform independent? It means our programming language can execute in all types of operating systems. It is not specific to any particular operating system. I can execute Python in Windows, Linux, Mac OS, etc. And the next thing is what is meant by open source. Share the screen. Okay, sorry, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, my screen is visible, right? Okay, now let's continue. Now, what is meant by open source? Open source means anyone in this world can use this programming language. It is not specific for a particular organization. So, all of us can use Python programming. So, Java, C programming, all these are open source programming languages. Okay. Now, the next thing is Python supports various types of libraries. Uh, Now, if you don't know what is NumPy TensorFlow, it's okay. In the upcoming videos, let us try to learn about this NumPy. And the TensorFlow, OpenCV, they are complex concepts. In the machine learning course, we all use these concepts. Okay, so ignore this. For machine learning, we use TensorFlow, and for image recognition, we use OpenCV. My screen is visible, right? Guys, just confirm once whether my screen is visible or not. Some it's not visible. Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, fine. Let us continue with our session. So the next point is it is possible to integrate Python with other programming languages. So this is one of the interesting thing. Here we can integrate Python with Java programming language. Also, we can integrate Python with C programming language. Their names will be a little bit funny. So the combination of C programming language and Python is called as Python, Python. Similarly, the combination of Java and Python is called as Jython, Jython, and the combination of .NET and Python is called Iron Python. So the thing is, we can integrate our Python with other programming languages also. So if we are using Python, then we can integrate our Python code with Java and C also. So this is the point I want to make. Okay. So I hope you all are aware of what are the features of Python. So okay, now we have seen Python is a high-level interpreted programming language created by Guido van Rossum, and we have discussed about some of the features of Python. Now let us see where we use Python. Okay, so the first point here is Python is used in data visualization. So there is a specific library in Python called matplotlib. Okay, I will type that here. So this matplotlib, this library is used to create graphs in Python. We all know the graphs, right? Like x-axis, y-axis. There we will mark some points and we will give some connections. So all those things we can do using matplotlib. So in data visualization, we use matplotlib library. Okay, we can create graphical representations also using that. So the point is, we can use Python for graphical representations. We can use Python to visualize data. If we have some data, then we can visualize the data in a graph format or bar chart format using Python. Okay, the next point is Python helps in data analytics. In the beginning of this meeting, I have told that we use Python in data science, machine learning, etc. So, in case of data analytics, where there will be some terabytes of data, so we will process those terabytes of data using Python to get some meaningful information from that data. Okay, data is useless without any meaningful insight from that data. It is useless, right? We can't do anything from data. If we are getting any insights from that data, then it will be better. So in order to get some of the so in order to get meaning of that data, we can use Python. So that is the concept of data analytics. The next thing is, I have already told that Python is used in artificial intelligence, machine learning. We all know that machine learning is nothing but simulation. Artificial intelligence is nothing but simulation of human behavior in machines. So for AI and for ML, we use Python. To be more specific, we use this TensorFlow library for machine learning. Okay. The next thing is Python is used to create web applications. Now, on Saturday we had a quick Zoom meet. Someone asked what is full stack development. We can use Python for full stack development also. So let us see what is meant by full stack development. Full stack development is nothing but we work on both front end and back end parts. So a website is made up of front end and back end. Front end is nothing but what we see. So now you are looking at this website called codewithharry.com. This is you are looking at the design of this website. This is front end part. Now uh, I will open the same thing in new tab. Now here if I click on login or if I click on sign up, then now here I will enter my email ID. So here I am creating my account. Similarly, have an account, I will perform login. Now if I enter my email address and password, and after that I will click on login. Now how will this action performed? So the first step is the email ID and password which I entered. Those things will be went to database. Okay. On the server side, the process will happen. The validation will be happen, which means the email ID which I entered and the password which I entered are correct or not. So it will perform validation. If the email ID or password which I entered are correct means I will be allowed to log in into my account. Otherwise, I will get an error as your email ID or password is incorrect. Right. This is what happens in login, no? So here this processing we call it as backend. The processing which is happening on the server side we call that as backend. Okay. Front end means the design which we are looking at now. These things, email address, password, this text, this is nothing but front end. Once I click on this login button, some process will happen on the server. So that processing is called as backend. So to handle that processing, we use backend programming languages like Node.js, Spring Boot. So there are a lot of backend languages. So in the similarly, along with Node.js and Spring Boot, we can also use Python. So in Python, there are specific frameworks called Django or Flask. We use these two frameworks for creating web applications. So here we can use Python in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, visualization, and also we can create web applications in Python. We can build full stack website. So in Python, for that we use Django. Okay, the next thing is it can be used to handle databases. Again, the same thing. We use these Django or Flask frameworks to handle databases. And also, Python is used to perform complex mathematical operations along with quantitative and qualitative analysis. I have told you here, while discussing about NumPy, I have told you that NumPy means numerical Python. So, with the help of this, we perform complex mathematical calculations. So, we can use Python for anything basically. We have seen, yes, for complex mathematical operations, we use NumPy, and for web applications, we use Django. Just remember this. If you are unable to remember, also, it's not a big issue. You can learn later. But I'm repeating the same things again and again because I want you to remember these things. These are also basics. Okay. So for machine learning, we use TensorFlow module. For data visualization, we use Matplotlib module. So these are some of the basic things which you need to remember about Python. So I hope you all are aware of what are the features and uses of Python. What is database, sir? Sandeep is asking what is database, sir? So database is nothing but a storage device. You can consider it like a storage device. It is used for storing huge amount of data. In simple terms, I can say if you are using a laptop, then there will be a hard disk or SSD, right? That will act as a database of your laptop. Similarly, in web applications, we use some large data centers for storing our data, and we call them as database. So once again, the basic definition is database is used for storing huge amount of data. Yes, I will share. I will share this PPT in WhatsApp group. It's not Python, it's Jython. Java plus Python is called as Jython. Okay, if you have any doubts so far, let me know. Now, have you understood about what are the advantages of Python? Yes, Sekar. C plus Python is called as Python, and .NET plus Python is called as Iron Python. What is the difference between C, Java, and Python? All these three programming languages are high-level programming languages, and Python has a lot of special features which we have seen so far. Okay, and also the major difference is Python is a interpreted programming language, and C and Java are compiled languages. How much time will it take to become expert in Python? To become expert in Python, you need to practice. That totally depends on how many hours you are spending per day. Okay, if you are spending 5 hours per day, then 1 month is enough to master Python. So Ramakrishna, for artificial intelligence, we use modules like TensorFlow and scikit-learn. Raja is asking, how does Python interpreter work? I have already explained that. In simple terms, I can say that Python interpreter will execute our Python code line by line. Instead of compiling the entire code, our code will get executed line by line. So first the first line will get executed, then second line, and then third line. Like that, it will reach until last line. Sai Ganesh is asking, what are the uses of Jython? If you want to use Python and Java together, then we need to use Jython framework. That's all. That totally depends upon our need. No, Jashwant, Python is not combination of all languages. It is a separate language only. This course is only Python. I am not teaching full stack here. After completion of course, you will get a certificate. So Lakshman, if you are from CSC BTech second year, then it is better to learn Python. I will share the recording. Yes, if you are interested in data science, then first you need to learn the basics of Python. After that only you can learn data science. Nagaraj is asking, please go slowly, sir. I am explaining the same concept multiple times. Shiva is asking that please use real-time examples also. Yes, this is basic introduction class. So we have just seen what are the uses of Python, and we have seen what are some of the features of Python. That's it. We haven't entered into actual programming language yet. So before learning Python, you should be aware of its uses, right? Without knowing uses, why will you learn? So now you know what are the uses of Python. So it can be used in data visualization, artificial intelligence, machine learning, for creating web applications, for performing complex mathematical calculations. So for all these things, we can use Python. I will share the recording before 9 p.m. Okay. I hope you all are aware of what are the advantages of Python now. Just let me know. All of you understood about compiler, right? All of you understood about what is meant by high-level language, what is a program, and what is meant by interpreter. And we have seen what are the uses of Python. Okay, so these are the basic concepts which you should learn before learning any programming language. Okay, now from tomorrow onwards, let us start about. Static is asking which one is effective, interpreter or compiler. Well, compiled languages are little bit faster comparing to interpreted languages. Okay, so interpreter gives us more convenience, but the thing is, Python is a slow programming language compared to Java or C. Okay, so compiled languages are better, but Python is an interpreted language, which makes Python slower. Okay, so that's a major disadvantage in Python. It is a slow programming language compared to Java and C. No, Sai Ganesh, Java and Python, they both won't run in same platform. We need to use different. For Java, we will use a compiler, and for Python, as we have discussed earlier, we use an interpreter. I will show you the installation of Python. C, Java, Python, which is fast? Python is slower compared to Python. C and Java are faster. So the thing is, Prashant, it totally depends upon your program. Okay, if you are performing so if your program is performing heavy calculations, if your program is processing terabytes of data, then it will become slow. I'll calculate the attendance. You don't have to worry about that. After completion of this session, I will share a link. There you will find PPT, and also you will find a link to give feedback on today's session. Okay, I hope people. Yes, Nagaraju. Comparing to Python, C and Java are faster. So the next thing is in tomorrow's session, we will install Python and VS Code. So this VS Code is nothing but a text editor. Okay. In other words, we can say it as a code editor. For typing our Python program, we use this VS Code software. And for execution of our Python program, we need this Python software. So tomorrow I will show you how we can install Python and VS Code in our Windows. So in today's session, we have discussed about introduction to Python and introduction to programming. Okay. Okay. Just let me know. Do you want me to revise all the things, or else it's enough? I will share the PPT and also I will share the recorded session. Some people are saying enough. Some people are saying revise once again. Okay. So still 4 minutes for 8 o'clock, right? Okay. I will revise quickly. Within 2 minutes, I will revise. So here we have seen what is meant by a program. A program is nothing but set of instructions that we give to a computer. Okay, the next thing is computers will understand only binary language, which are zeros and ones. So as humans, we can speak zeros and ones. So instead of using binary language, we use programming language with computers. Okay, in order to give instructions to a computer, we use programming languages. And what is a programming language? It is a way for humans to communicate with computers. The next thing is As humans, we use high level languages like Python, C, Java, etc. So these high level languages are easier for humans to understand. And low level languages are nothing but binary language, which are zeros and ones. So our computers can understand only low level language. In order to convert our high level language into low level language, we use compiler. This compiler is a special program which turns our high level language into zeros and ones, which a machine will understand. The next thing is interpreter. Our Python is an interpreter programming language. Instead of converting entire code into machine language, this interpreter will execute our code line by line. Okay, so our Python code will get executed line by line. Next, we have discussed about introduction to Python, where we have seen what is Python. So Python is an interpreted high-level programming language created by Guido van Rossum in 1989. So some of the features of Python are we can use Python in data visualization. We can use modules like matplotlib. We can we will use Python for data analytics, and also we use Python in artificial intelligence, machine learning. So for machine learning, we use this TensorFlow module, and also we use Python to design web applications. For this, we use Django or Flash, and also Python. With the help of Python, we can handle databases, and also we use Python to perform complex mathematical calculations. For that, we use this module called NumPy, and for image recognition, like there are how many vehicles on road, and for text recognition. So for those things, we use modules called OpenCV. So we use this OpenCV library for computer vision. Okay. So and also we can integrate our Python with other programming languages like Java, C, .NET, etc. And also we have seen that Python is an open source language, which means it is available for everyone. And also it is platform independent, which means we can execute our Python code in Windows, Mac OS, Linux, almost in all operating systems. We can execute Python programming language. Okay. So these are the things which we have discussed today. How to use compiler and interpreter? Okay, you don't have to worry about that, Prabhu. Tomorrow, we will install our Python software. Okay, I will show you how to execute Python programs. Then you will understand. Right now, just understand what is meant by compiler and what is meant by interpreter. Okay, Sadiq, I will do that. Okay, okay. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. I will share the recording. Bye. I will stop the recording.